Today we're going full sci-fi, exploring some of the coolest spaceships ever imagined. I mean, picture it, you're cruising through the galaxy, exploring strange new worlds. What kind of ship is your ride?
Now, that's a question that gets the imagination going. And lucky for us, we've got a fantastic guide for this journey, an article from Listverse called Science Fiction's 10 Coolest Spaceships.
Perfect. And this isn't just about which ship has the biggest guns or the flashiest lasers, right?
Right, it's about variety. This deep dive covers everything from massive warships to super-fast transporters, each one with its own unique role in its fictional universe.
I like it. So it's not just about the tech, it's about the story behind the ship, too. What does it tell us about the civilization that built it? What were they trying to achieve?
Exactly. Their values, their priorities, it's all reflected in the design. Are they all about conquering the galaxy, peaceful exploration, or maybe just delivering packages on time, no matter how crazy the route?
Okay, I'm hooked. Let's meet some of these starships. We've got some heavy hitters, like the Executor from Star Wars, and of course the Battlestar Galactica, both known for their sheer size and firepower.
Well, the Empire's love of big, like with the Executor, it really says something about their whole philosophy. Overwhelming force. It's as much about intimidation as it is about raw power. I mean, the Executor is over 11 miles long. Imagine an entire city crammed into one spaceship.
Whoa. And speaking of powerful empires, you can't forget the Battlestar Galactica, right? Humanity's last stand against those relentless Cylons. It's not just a warship. It's carrying the remnants of human civilization.
It's a mobile city, yeah, always on the move. And don't forget about that crazy FTL jump drive. They can even appear right in a planet's atmosphere. Desperate measures for a civilization fighting for survival, for sure.
Talk about high stakes.
Yeah.
Makes you appreciate human ingenuity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But hey, not every cool ship has to be a gigantic behemoth. We've got some speed demons on the list, too, like the Razorback from the Expanse.
The Razorback, yeah. Speed is the name of the game for this one. That wedge shape, the oversized engines, all about getting from point A to point B fast. For anyone not familiar with the Expanse, think high-G maneuvers in the asteroid belt.
It's no joyride either. The pilots actually need drug injections to handle those insane G-forces from all that speed. Makes you realize it's not just about having a fast ship. It's about pushing the limits of what the human body can endure.
It really makes you question, how far are we willing to go in the pursuit of speed, of efficiency? What are the risks? What are the ethical implications?
Big questions for sure. Now let's switch gears from that super-fast Razorback to a ship that bends space and time, shall we? The Tardis from Doctor Who, What's Not to Love?
Ah, yes. The Tardis, the iconic police box. Bigger on the inside than out, full of all sorts of time travel paradoxes and weirdness. It's practically a character in its own right.
Exactly. So for the uninitiated, TARDIS stands for
Time and relative dimension in space. Basically, it can do pretty much anything you can think of. Travel through time, tow planets around, even create air bubbles for its occupants to survive in the vacuum of space.
And all while looking like an ordinary police box. A malfunctioning chameleon circuit, they say. It was supposed to blend in, but got stuck in that form. Kind of a cosmic joke, isn't it?
It definitely adds a layer of whimsy to the whole thing, that's for sure. And it makes the TARDIS instantly recognizable, wouldn't you say? But let's move on from the TARDIS to some ships that are designed for more, let's say, practical purposes, like transporting people or goods. One that immediately comes to mind is Serenity from Firefly.
Serenity. Now, that's a ship with a lot of heart, reflecting the lives and struggles of its crew. It's like a space western, where the ship is as much a character as any of the people on board.
A Joss Whedon classic. He also created Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and you can see some of that same spirit in Firefly. Serenity has those modified cargo bays for smuggling, and the long-range capabilities, perfect for an outlaw crew living on the edges of space.
It's like that old saying, home is where you park it. Only in this case, home is a spaceship hurtling through the vastness of the cosmos. It's a reminder that even in space, the human element, those connections, that's what gives a ship its soul.
And speaking of ships with personality, we can't forget arguably the most iconic spaceship of all time, the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. Han Solo's pride and joy.
Oh, the Falcon. Definitely more than just a hunk of junk, as some might call it.
You got it. Sure, it looks like it's held together with duct tape and hope, but under Han Solo's care, it's been souped up for speed and for those smuggling runs. It's a reflection of Han's character, really.
Yeah.
A bit rough around the edges, but with hidden depths.
And let's not forget, it made the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs. A feat that cemented its place in Star Wars legend.
Oh, yeah. And the Falcon's been through it all, seen some major action. It's been right in the thick of those pivotal galactic events. It's a symbol of rebellion, of hope, of never giving up, just like its crew.
Now that's inspiring. Okay, from one survivor to another, we've got the Defiant from Star Trek. Deep Space Nine. Now this is a very different kind of ship than, say, the Enterprise.
You're absolutely right. The Defiant is Starfleet's first true warship, built for combat. The Enterprise was all about exploration and diplomacy, but the Defiant, pure firepower, armed to the teeth. We're talking phasers, torpedoes, even ablative armor.
But it did have a bit of a bumpy start, didn't it? I mean, it was so heavily armored that it nearly tore itself apart during testing. Quite the design flaw, to say the least.
Yeah, it shows you the challenges of pushing the boundaries of technology, right? Sometimes you gotta balance ambition with, well, practicality. But once they got those kinks worked out, the Defiant became a real force to be reckoned with, especially during the Dominion War under Captain Sisko.
A ship for its time, for sure. Now, for something a little more grounded, at least in design, Rocinante from the Expanse, it's known for its detailed, almost realistic design, like something that could actually be built someday.
It does feel very believable, doesn't it? The creators really thought it through, from the drive cone all the way up. It has that sense of plausibility that a lot of sci-fi ships just don't have.
And while it may not be as flashy as some of the others we've talked about, don't underestimate it. The Rocinante packs a serious punch with that railgun. We're talking tungsten rounds, almost 10,000 meters per second. That's some serious firepower.
It's a reminder that even in the future, in a universe where humanity has spread out across the solar system, conflict, the need for self-defense, it's still there. But even with all that heavy weaponry, the crew of the Rocinante, they still find ways to have fun. I mean, they name their drones after the band Rush, Pearl, Lee, and Lifeson.
It's those little touches that make these ships feel real, lived in. Makes you realize it's not just about the tech, it's about the people behind it. And finally, we come to a ship that's about as wacky and hilarious as the show it's from. The Planet Express ship, or Old Bessie, from Futurama.
No, Old Bessie is in a category all its own, that propulsion system alone. Instead of the ship moving through space, it actually moves the universe around the ship. A mind-bending concept, even by Futurama standards.
And thanks to good old cartoon physics, Old Bessie can survive a black hole, but get totally wrecked by a stray rock. Classic.
Classic Futurama, you're right. But, it's a good reminder that even in science fiction, humor has a place. It can make these complex ideas more accessible, more fun.
And despite all the crazy stuff, Old Bessie always manages to deliver the goods no matter how wild the ride gets, a real testament to its unique durability. And to the crew's, shall we say, ingenuity.
Absolutely. It's a perfect example of how a ship can become a symbol of something bigger, resilience, adaptability, and maybe just a touch of good luck. It's fascinating, isn't it? How each of these ships, even though they're fictional, sort of embodies a whole different philosophy of space travel.
It's like they're saying something about us, about what we value, what we fear.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Executor, it's all about power, projecting strength through, well, sheer size.
It's a statement, right? Like a giant, hey, look at us. Kind of makes you wonder, what's it like to be on the bridge of a ship that big, to command that much firepower?
It's almost like, does that kind of power corrupt you? Does it just amplify what's already there?
Yeah, it's kind of a scary thought, actually.
Right. And then you've got the Battlestar Galactica. Still massive, but it represents something totally different.
Yeah, it's about survival. Humanity on the run, clinging to existence.
It's constantly moving, jumping through space, just trying to stay one step ahead.
Makes you think about the burden of leadership, carrying all those lives on your shoulders.
Absolutely. And speaking of burdens, the Razorback is a whole other kind of challenge.
Oh yeah, pushing the limits of speed, of what the human body can even handle.
Those drug injections the pilots take, that's not just a cool sci-fi detail.
It makes you think about the cost of progress, right? How far are we willing to go?
And then you've got something like the Tardis, which is almost like the opposite.
Yeah. It's whimsical, unpredictable. A police box that can travel anywhere in time and space.
It's like the universe has a sense of humor.
It's a reminder that exploration can be about more than just conquering or surviving.
It can be about wonder, curiosity, just seeing what's out there.
And then you've got ships like Serenity and the Millennium Falcon. They're all about freedom, independence.
A little bit of rebellion too, right?
Yeah, they're the underdogs, the ones who make their own rules.
Think about Serenity's smuggling compartments, or the Falcon outrunning Imperial cruisers.
They're extensions of their captains, almost.
Yeah.
Han Solo and Malcolm Reynolds, they wouldn't be caught dead in a stuffy Starfleet vessel.
It's interesting how a ship can become a symbol. almost like a character itself.
Like the Defiant. It shows Starfleet facing a new kind of threat.
Yeah, it's not about exploration anymore. It's about survival. And sometimes that means fighting back.
It's a tough choice, right? To compromise your ideals in the face of danger.
And then there's the Rocinante. At first glance, it might seem less, I don't know, fantastical.
It's more grounded, more realistic, but that's what makes it so cool.
Yeah, the attention to detail, the way it's designed, it feels like a ship that could actually exist.
And it's still got that human element, you know? Those little touches, like naming the drones after a band.
It's a good reminder that even in a high-tech future, it's still about the people.
And then you've got Old Bessie. Maybe not the most impressive ship on the list, but she's got something special.
Old Bessie is all about the journey, not the destination.
It's about embracing the chaos, finding the humor and the unexpected.
And isn't that a good lesson for life in general? No matter what ship you're piloting.
So as we go deeper into this, what else can we learn from these ships? What do they tell us about ourselves, about our place in the universe? You know, it's funny. I was just thinking, if I could design my own spaceship, what would it look like? What would it say about me?
That's a great question. Would you go for something sleek and stealthy? All about speed and agility.
Maybe. Or maybe something more like a giant self-sustaining arc, you know, focused on preserving life, knowledge, all that.
Like a little pocket of civilization cruising through the cosmos.
Exactly. Or what about something completely out there? A ship that can bend the laws of physics, or one that can camouflage itself, like a phantom ship.
Oh, I like that. A ghost ship slipping unseen through the galaxy. There are so many possibilities.
And each one tells a different story, right? About what we prioritize, what we dream of.
It's what makes science fiction so powerful, I think. It lets us explore all these what-ifs.
It's like holding up a mirror to ourselves, to humanity, our hopes, our anxieties, our creativity. It's all there.
It makes you wonder what we're truly capable of, when we push those boundaries.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into these amazing spaceships. Any final thoughts?
Just that, well, they're more than just cool designs, right? They make us think about our place in the universe, about what's out there, what's possible.
And who knows, maybe someday the ships we dream of today will become the ships we build tomorrow.
Keep dreaming, keep exploring. That's what it's all about.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Until next time.